Are you gutsy? Do you have big dreams, big goals? Maybe even some people have told you that they are crazy goals. Gutsy Travels. We are a travel show with a twist. We have inspiring interviews with gutsy people around the country who have been gutsy. This is where you want to be. Be inspired to be gutsy yourself. Welcome to Gutsy Travels. This is our premiere episode, and I am going to take you across the country. Right now, I am standing in Yellowstone National Park, and behind me is Old Faithful. Yellowstone National Park is beautiful. Part of the Gutsy Travels is that it is a travel show, but with a twist. That twist is that I travel all around the country, and I get to have wonderful conversations with really gutsy people who have done gutsy things in their lives. They've overcome the challenges, and they also have some advice about how to be gutsy yourself. So we are going to go to Miami, Florida, where I actually lived in Florida for about 25 years. Well, my friend, her name is LaShanya Aikerson, and she is in Miami, Florida. We are going to go to the East Coast, Miami, so that we can talk with LaShanya Aikerson about how she has been gutsy in her life. Headed to Key Biscayne and the high rises. Historic South Miami Avenue. I thought you might enjoy seeing all the colors. Hi everyone, I am in Brickell, Florida. It's right on the bay, on Biscayne Bay, and I'm walking around with LaShanya Aikerson, a friend of mine, and having some fun as we do some interviews for Gutsy Living Moments. Say hi, LaShanya! Hello! So I thought I'd do a check-in on Gutsy Travels Day 18 here in Brickell, Florida with my friend LaShanya Aikerson. And we are walking around doing some interviews for the Gutsy Living Moments and having some fun as well. Welcome back to the Gutsy Living Moments, and today I have one of my favorite people here. Her name is LaShanya Aikerson. I met her a couple of years ago, and she is an awesome trainer, speaker, and CEO of her own consulting firm, Aikerson Consulting Group. And I really admire her. I've gotten to know her over the last few years, and I asked her if she would do a Gutsy Living Moments interview. And now she said yes, and we are sitting in Brickell, Miami, Florida, which I used to live here in Florida for 25 years. Did you know that? 25 years I lived in Florida. Long time. And all over as well. And Brickell, Key Biscayne, definitely one of the areas that I like to come down because Key Biscayne is just so beautiful.
Yes.
Once you get through the traffic, right? So I am on my Gutsy Travels trip and here in Miami. So we had dinner last night, and then today we are doing this interview. So thank you so much for doing the Gutsy Living Moments interview, because it's all about people being gutsy to get unstuck.
Yes.
And hearing our stories about when we were gutsy can help inspire others to do so. So I am looking forward to hearing your story. So the question is, When was a moment in time in your life when you had to really draw out that gutsy in you so that you could do something that you wanted to pursue? Tell us that story.
Sure. So for me, it was starting my company
Ooh.
and starting my business.
Mm-hmm.
And before starting it, I, had a job and paid very well. I worked as a consultant, and I had parents that, were of the mindset, you get degrees, you work for a company,
Keep on going.
you stay there until you get the gold watch, and then you leave when you retire. And so I knew that model wasn't going to work for me. And I had decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur before I ever had my first job.
Ooh,
and
long time ago.
I was very fortunate because as a young person in school, my parents exposed me to different organizations, and I was more the geeky kid, more into math and science, and so versus the socialization. And so I was part of this group for other geeky kids that were into math and science. And so in this particular group, I got to be the president. And as president, I got to decide what we did, and I decided we're going to have a career day. And at the career day, we had an entrepreneur, among other things. We had an actuary, we had all these other technical professionals, but one was an entrepreneur. And I was enamored. And I decided right then and there that that's what I wanted after asking him my 8 million questions. But the thing that stuck with me was he said, you need to basically income maximize. You need to find professions that pay well and save your money because you're not going to make a lot of money when you start. And so when I was at IBM, I did my best to maximize my income. I worked very hard to get promotions. I was very committed, very dedicated, and I took the leap. And when you start a business, when I started, because I was so busy working, I had 0 clients. I quit my job with no way to pay my bills. And that was the big gutsy thing that I did.
But it sounds like you planned ahead.
Yes.
And you took the plunge knowing what you had to do.
Yes. So I knew at a high level.
Okay.
I learned a whole lot, especially those first 30 days. So a lot that I didn't know, but I did know enough to at least prepare myself to have some money saved.
Good.
And,
yes.
That sort of thing. And so
do some planning ahead.
Yes. So I mostly planned for being able to have some money saved more than plan for exactly how I was going to make a living. I kind of started that after I quit.
And you stuck with it.
I did.
See, that's what can happen.
Yes.
Is people can get scared.
Yes.
And totally understand.
Yes.
And then backpedal.
Yes.
And totally
go right
understand.
Right.
It's moving forward.
Yes.
It can be even gutsier.
Yes.
Not only starting it, but then sticking with it.
Yes.
So you were all in.
I was all in. And I also felt like I had to know my why. Because for me, I wasn't just doing it because I had nothing better to do. If I had nothing better to do, then it'd be a lot easier to have a steady paycheck.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I wanted to create a lifestyle for me, and I wanted to make a difference the way I wanted to. No matter who I worked for, I was making a difference on their terms.
So what was your why?
So for me, I wanted to empower people to be able to live their ultimate best life, no boundaries. And in my personal case, when I started my career, I got fired early on. And it was because I just didn't know things. And I wasn't a bad human. I just did things that didn't help me, stay employed. And so had I known better, I could have done better. And so I want to empower people that now there's nothing. So my boundary was not quite understanding a few things about the work world. And so I want to empower people so that they're actually living their best life. And they're not, settling for what they think they can do. They're doing what they actually want to do.
Discover My Inside Story was created to help you discover who you were meant to be through powerful self-discovery opportunities and life-changing experiences. We offer retreats, seminars, and workshops along with destination experiences for both men and women. We're continuously planning new retreats, so click on our website and make a plan to discover who you were meant to be. We welcome you on this journey to discover who you are and to love what you find. Can you think back to, I don't know, maybe one particular challenge that you had that may help our audience as well?
So, sure. So one of the challenges that I encountered was dealing with, I'm going to call it mindset. And first, the mindset of loved ones. And loved ones, parents and friends, they care about you. So I'm talking about people who genuinely want to see you do well, but they're afraid because you're taking gutsy actions that they would not take for themselves.
Yes.
And so their fear can be very paralyzing and can be very constricting, and to the point that they will almost do anything to stop you from doing that scary thing. It's scary to them, and yeah, it might be scary to you too, but you're willing to work through the fear. And so their mindset, taking action, being able to love and still pursue my life and my own mindset, and how you see yourself, you'll never rise higher than the way you see yourself. And if I only see myself at a certain level, that's all I've got. And I'll never go higher, no matter what I do. And because it's not possible in my mind. And shifting my mindset to believe things that growing up, I just felt like, whether it was my gender or my race or my, whatever it was, I felt like more people were telling me what I couldn't do.
Could not do.
Versus what I could. And I had some of both, so it wasn't all...
You're here.
Right.
You had to have some of those. Some of both. You can do this.
And the one person who really said, when I was a young child, my mom said to me, you can be whatever you put your mind to.
Awesome.
And I remember that to this day. And probably my earliest conversation that I remember. And at the time, I think she was trying to get me to just walk and so forth. But yeah, so she said I can basically be whatever I put my mind to. So I said I'm going to put my mind to some big stuff. And so to me, I took that as fact. And so I've lived my life through that. Now I had to get out of my own way.
There's many other things that happened along the way.
Yes.
But those words really stuck with you.
Yes.
It is amazing to me how someone else's words can impact us in a crazy important way. So the words that we use, not only with ourselves, our self-talk, but also the words that we use with others, we don't know how powerful they really can be and
Absolutely.
how impactful. You said your mother, it may have been something to get you to walk.
Yes.
But those words stuck with you.
Yes.
And stayed with you over your life.
Yes.
And you embraced them.
Yes.
That you really could.
Yes.
So even though they were meant for one particular thing, they stuck.
Yes.
And it just is an example of how we can support each other with kind words, with supportive and encouraging words.
Yes.
Instead of caring, loving, and yet, no, don't do that.
Exactly.
More of, okay, so what is your plan? I am here to support you.
Yes.
And let's make sure that you are setting yourself up for success. That's a great way to support people.
Yes.
It sounds like you had that as well.
And I'm very deliberate about surrounding myself with people who are choosing to live their life in a way that to me looks scary. And I just get to be supportive because that helps me to shift myself.
Yes.
And so I'm very deliberate.
I love it!
Yay!
See, no wonder this was meant to be. I knew it was meant to be because you and I, we have so many things in common.
Yes.
And supporting each other in many different ways.
Yes.
You doing this interview, me working with you. It's awesome.
Yay.
So thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. You're very welcome.
What do you think? What? How about if we just take a walk around Brickell
I like that idea.
and see what else we talk about?
I like that idea. Let's
Give me
do
5.
it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is so much fun. We're here in Brickell, Florida, and you can see behind us how colorful it is. It's so colorful, and there's so many high rises here. So tell me, how do you define gutsy? What's it mean to you?
Yes. So to me, being gutsy means going for it anyway. That means you're an action taker and you go and do the thing that other people only talk about. While they're talking about what could be done, you're saying, I did it already, what's next?
Yes, I like that. I like that. Action taker. And
Yes.
it does. It takes action
Yes.
to get things done.
Yes.
Even if it's small little actions at a time, but it takes action to
Yes.
be gutsy.
Yes.
LaShanya, I am having so much fun walking around. Yeah, it's a little hot, but you know what? It's a beautiful
Miami.
day. It's Miami, and I'm get to
May.
spend some time with you.
Yay.
So having some fun. So, we've been talking about being gutsy. So, what advice would you give someone who they're stuck
Yeah.
and they want to be gutsy? They're inspired by our stories.
Yes.
And they just want to be gutsy. What advice would you give them?
Yes.
What advice would you give them?
Excellent. And I feel like, we're always in that place where what we really want,
Yeah,
we can see it, but we don't always move forward to get it.
true.
And my advice is to take action and be willing to change. And when it comes to change, what got you where you are is not going to get you where you want to be.
Excellent.
And so what got you here won't get you there. So what can we do that is action oriented? And I think about, when we decide, first it's about deciding.
Yep.
When we decide we want something,
Yep.
then we get to change and be that type of person that can attract that. And ultimately, what separates, in my opinion, you having what it is that you desire and not is your way of being, what you see as possible for yourself. And because if you don't think you can do it, it's not happening. There's nothing that's going to make it happen if you don't believe it can. And so by starting with that belief
Yeah.
and being willing to change and do what's uncomfortable outside your comfort zone,
Yes, yes.
not what you're used to doing.
Yeah.
If it feels comfortable,
Yeah.
it's in your comfort zone.
True. Right.
Yeah.
And that's not going to get us moving forward.
Yes.
Got it.
And so we get to do the thing that, other people will look and say, ooh, wow. Yeah, we did it already. What's next?
Okay, so it takes action.
Yes.
It's comfortable
Yes.
with change, and,
Right.
and that can be very uncomfortable.
Yes.
But getting comfortable with the change,
Yes.
and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable,
Yes.
and taking action to do
Yep.
so.
Do it anyway.
Do it anyway. Yes.
You know you're going to be uncomfortable. That's the definition of outside the comfort zone.
Yes, indeed. This has been so much fun. Thank you for doing the Gutsy Living Moments interview.
You're welcome.
So we can inspire others out there from our own experiences.
Yes.
And this has been so much fun. Give me
Yay!
5.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. We went to Miami, Florida to have a conversation with a gutsy woman. She has been gutsy many times in her life, and more specifically when she went to start her management company, then she had to feel that fear and push forward anyway. She knew what she wanted, she planned ahead, had some surprises even in the first 30 days. And then she continued pushing forward. She was all in. She surrounded herself with people who were supportive of her so that she could push through some of those challenging times. And she made sure that she enjoyed life as well.
And so my advice is to be willing to change. Be willing to do what's uncomfortable. If you knew that, you're in the future looking back on your life and you knew that you could see what's going to happen, what do you want that to look like? What do you want that life to be? What difference will your life make having lived? And so once you're clear on that, align your changes with that outcome. Awesome.
So I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Gutsy Travels. Click below and let us know what you think. Positive, constructive feedback is something that we all want. So not only can we feel good about any accomplishments, but also improve, because that is what life is about, is learning, growing, expanding ourselves, our knowledge, and having fun along the way. One of the ways that I have fun is traveling around the country. Again, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Gutsy Travels. We will see you down the road. In the meantime, be kind, be focused, be gutsy. Enjoy life. My flat tire that's being fixed by these wonderful gentlemen.